Hello everyone, this is Jonathan Gibson, and this is my personal leadership model. I decided to title it Leading by Commandments. I decided to structure my model around the 3 leadership commandments that we've been covering for every lecture in this course by the Harvard Business Review. Know thyself, understand others, and initiate and sustain change. I think that this provides a nice structure of a process, a stepped process or categories under which I can put some bullets and organize my thoughts into a nice concise model. First commandment, know thyself. This is where I wanted to talk about using the self-assessment surveys. I've been fortunate enough over the years to have multiple surveys, so I have a nice timeline that I've laid out down there. I think this data is really important to analyze. For example, for myself, I can tell that as I move from an individual contributor to a leader, as you can see, my roles change. I tend to become more dominant and more outspoken, that's great for leading teams. It's great for driving results, and I've had a lot of success operating that way. But you can also look at it and see what types of traps you might fall into in the future. So for myself, I can see that under high stress environments or high risk environments, I could come across as too abrasive or too strong, or I could accidentally shut out others' ideas. So that's important to know so that I can realize that I need to take a conscious effort to minimize that in the future. If you don't have access to these, it's easy to accomplish the same means. You just need to address what's important to me, what are my personal bias or mental modes that prevent me from seeing reality clearly. That can be done by introspective thinking, asking for feedback from mentors, or asking friends. The second commitment, understand others. Once you look introspectively towards yourself, you can begin to expand outwards towards others. I think on a management level, it's easy to get lost in the different motivational theories that we've covered, Maslow's hierarchy, Herzberg, equity, expectancy, the things we've learned in these past courses. For this model, I wanted to look at the big picture. So from a system standpoint, I think that motivation comes from transformational leadership, because when you build transformational leadership, you end up creating an environment under which personal mastery can flourish, and from there comes shared vision, which I'll talk about on the next slide. You get the 5 building blocks we covered in lecture to build transformational leadership, focusing on strategy, building a solid foundation, creating a link between your levels and making sure that the message is communicated from top to bottom or bottom to top, and then connecting your processes and systems and leading with integrity so that your team is willing to commit to following you. The third commandment, initiate and sustain change. The cornerstone is establishing a shared vision, which is made possible because of the second commandment. Remember, setting up the environment for personal mastery. Now you're set up for shared vision. This needs to be built from the bottom up, comprised of the personal visions from all the stakeholders. You can't go from top down. You can't dictate it. You can't have some one vision statement that the executives come up with. People don't buy into that, and that's where people end up failing in the long term. A quote that I had written down from a different class, a book that we read, The Leadership Challenge, by Kuzes and Posner, was only shared visions have the magnetic power to sustain commitment over time. I think this is important because this shows that a team without a shared vision, it's going to be difficult to keep that team together and keep them focused and keep them operating at that high level of performance as the teams that establish a shared vision and stick with it. A shared vision is really going to drive your motivation and commitment. My personalized change model. I used Kotter's 8-step model, but kind of in my own style. I took it and kind of modified it. I think that's the best thing to do with any leadership or management theory is going to be to tailor it to yourself. So I mainly made some changes to vision. I felt that Kotter's model, creating the vision and communicating the vision, kind of sounded reminiscent of the executive team going off on their conference for a week, coming back with an enlightened nirvana and a catch-all vision statement that they're going to push down. And I didn't want to do that, so instead, steps 3 and 4, I've got ensuring the environment is there for personal mastery, creating this new shared vision if the change drives it, involving all the stakeholders, and then of course it's still important to create your short-term wins so that you show everybody that your process is working, and you maintain that. You maintain this new process by creating open feedback and a sense of ownership, a sense of dynamic ownership, so that you don't have to formally institutionalize it because it's automatically institutionalized. The people want to follow it because it's part of their vision. This is my quick overview slide of the 3 steps: know thyself, understand others, initiate, sustain change, with the bullets off to the side. This is my go-to visual that covers my whole model all on one slide. Thank you very much.